Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Skye and I'm a first-time mum to a beautiful baby girl. Throughout my channel, I talk about all things motherhood, so pregnancy, labour, birth, postpartum, relationships, and everything else in between. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I did to prepare for labour, birth, and breastfeeding. I do just want to say that I'm so grateful and so fortunate that I had an incredible birth experience. Of course, the pain was nothing like I had ever imagined, but I got through it and I'm here to tell the story. So yeah, keep on listening and I hope that you get something out of this video. First thing is research. Every day I put in time to research about labour and birth. Now, this isn't to say that if you do enough research that you're going to have a smooth labour and birth. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that I took the time to research, so I had a bit of an idea of what to expect, the stages of labour. And I do believe that it had a contributing factor in the sense of I went into labour with confidence and telling myself that I can do this. The reason that I put so much time into researching labour and birth, and that was because I wanted to go in feeling confident, but I also wanted to go in knowing that if things don't go to plan, what next sort of thing. I didn't want to be in the situation where I go, yeah, I'm going to go in, I'm going to have this natural vaginal birth and this is what's going to happen, and then if anything goes sort of left field, what happens next? So I wanted to be as knowledgeable as I can to know what can happen in so many different scenarios, so that if I was put in a position to make a decision, I had a bit of an idea of what I wanted to do in that situation. The research that I was doing, as I sort of mentioned in other videos, was YouTube, podcasts, and a couple of books, but I also had the help of my midwives to guide me through sort of a lot of their knowledge in labour and birth. Obviously, they're registered midwives, so if you are fortunate enough to have a midwife throughout your pregnancy, ask questions. That's what I did. Every midwife appointment, I would come in with a list of questions and I would just ask away. So I found that, yeah, super beneficial for me. And I was so grateful that I was able to have my midwives that I could talk to about pregnancy and, labour and birth. Another thing I did to prepare, and that was watching birth vlogs on YouTube. So prior to falling pregnant, I was obsessed with watching birth vlogs, like obsessed. But until you're actually pregnant and you are about to give birth, it just felt different. So I stopped watching birth vlogs, I think sort of towards the end of my pregnancy, but throughout the, sort of the first and some of the second trimester, I would watch birth vlogs, all different types of birth vlogs, just to get a bit of an idea as to sort of what can happen, the types of birth, some things that I would like to happen in my birth, other things that I wouldn't, and it really helped me even write my birth plan in things where of things that I do not want to happen to me, and things that I was sort of happy and I would consent to. I was part of a program called MGP, which is the midwife group practice, and basically it just, well, all that means is you have the same midwife throughout your pregnancy. So all your appointments, it's the same midwife. When you get into the hospital, your midwife will be there. Of course, depending on shift change and changeover and all of that obviously comes into play, but generally you've got the same midwife. Because I was part of this program, they actually give you access to online education. So I think it was called like an antenatal education course, and basically what it did is it had so much information around positive birth, positioning when things don't go to plan, and so much more. This included like online modules, which I found super useful because, as I said, I've watched YouTube videos, but some of them were in America and not as relevant to Australia and our sort of rules and regulations and things like that. But this online course that I was provided, it was part of the program. So it had the room where I would be in, it had everything was relevant to what I was about to go through. So I was so forever grateful that I had that. I also read a couple of books. Now, I'm not a big book reader. It's not something that I have really been of interest in before, but I did buy a couple of books, and I really enjoyed reading them. It really just gave me a good understanding of the female body and that my body is built to birth. It gave me the confidence that my body will do what it needs to do to get this baby out, whether that be vaginal, whether that be a cesarean, like a C-section, whatever it's meant to be. In terms of podcasts and YouTube, look, there are so many channels and podcasts out there. You just need to find one that you are drawn to. I did a breastfeeding course. It's called the Thompson Method. She's got a little bit of information on YouTube, but for me, I just bought her course. I got it on sale at the time. I think it was $80. And for me, it was the best $80 I've ever spent because it gave me so much information. So many things I had no idea about, and I found out on this course. You download an app, you can do it in your own time, that it's just, it was unbelievable. So I'm so glad that I did that, because I went into my breastfeeding journey feeling pretty confident. Still had a little bit of concern and doubt because my boobs had not grown throughout my pregnancy, but I felt pretty confident having done the course. Now look, my breastfeeding journey didn't go the way that I had hoped it would go. I will talk about my breastfeeding journey in more videos to come because I have so much to say on this topic. It really was pretty much one of the main reasons for me starting my YouTube channel, was because of my breastfeeding journey. My breastfeeding journey, as I said, it was not smooth sailing. I did not have a freezer stash. I was not pumping 1,000 mils a day. I was not using the hucker. I basically wasn't a juicy mama, let's just put it that way. So I've got so much I want to say on this topic. As you can tell, I'm getting super excited even just talking about it, because I really do think that what I have to say is going to help so many women out there, and that's all I've ever wanted out of this channel. So keep an eye out for those videos to come. One thing that I didn't do, and that was a birthing course. So you can do, there's hypnobirthing, there's calm birthing, there's different types of courses that you can do. I personally saved my money and did my own research. There's so much research out there on labor and birth that you can find for free, as well as the help of your doctor or midwife, obstetrician, all of that. In saying that, I know the courses can be super helpful, especially for your birthing partner. That's one thing that I really made sure of, that when I was watching my videos and listening to podcasts and reading books and so forth, every bit of information that I had, I would relay to my partner Jared, so that he was sort of aware of, what can happen and what to expect and all of that, so that he had a bit of confidence going into the experience as well. One thing that I did, and that was I wrote a birth plan or birth expectations. So I highly, highly recommend doing this. Now, it's labor, it's birth. Nothing, I don't believe, is going to go to plan. We don't know what's going to happen, right? Our bodies are in control. But I found from all the information that I gathered, I wrote a birth expectation. I didn't even call it a birth plan, a birth expectations. And I did this so that I can refer to it when I'm in labor, my partner can refer to it, and also my midwife. So there were a few things. Actually, I might do a YouTube video on it. There's so many things that I wrote in there that I think actually could be helpful. So I'll actually do a YouTube video on that. Keep an eye out for that to come through. Another thing that I did to prepare for labor and birth was I practiced breathing. A lot of people say, and research that I've done say, it's like, doing a poo. So to get into the mindset and to really practice breathing, I would breathe while I was going to the toilet, and it feels really weird at the start. You think, oh my God, what am I doing? But in the end, and after doing it sort of every single day, it really did help me get into that mindset of breathing. And then obviously I would breathe not just on the toilet, but everywhere else, I'd sit and practice. But even when I was in labor, it really just brought me back to the times that I was practicing when I was pregnant. And I do truly think that it actually helped me get through my contractions at the beginning. Another thing I did while I was pregnant was I tried not to take in and listen to other people's birth stories. So I don't know what it is, and I don't know if this is for everyone, but for me, because I was pregnant and obviously I was showing, every woman and their dog was telling me about their birth story. Everyone tells you the worst part of their birth story. I also want to stay focused and remain positive and get into a good mindset and not have every person sort of coming at you going how bad it is, how painful it is, just all these things. So that's one bit of advice I would say is, if you can, don't listen to other people's birth stories, and if they insist on telling you, try to kind of just go one ear and out the other. Now this takes me on to my next topic, and that is having a positive mindset and positive affirmations. Saying positive affirmations out loud is something that I did every single day. Now I have not done this before pregnancy. I hadn't felt like I had a need to. But while I was pregnant, and it was mainly on my walks or if I was driving, I would say out loud, I will have a positive birth experience. I will have a positive labor. I will have a positive birth. My body is built to birth. My baby and my body will work together. They will know what to do. Like, I would say all these things out loud in the hope that I would, my mind would just actually start to believe these things. I would say things like, I will have a healthy baby, my baby will be delivered safely in the way that it was meant to. I would also say positive affirmations around breastfeeding, which, throughout my entire pregnancy, I just had this doubt, and that was because my boobs had not grown, and it was just in my head. So I would really focus on saying this out loud. I will have a positive breastfeeding experience. I will breastfeed my baby. That's something else that I did, not just for labor and birth, but also for breastfeeding. Now, the final thing that I did throughout my pregnancy to prepare for labor and birth, and that is rest. Now, this is something that I don't believe is often spoken about, but it is so important. Now, grinding and being busy and working hard and going out and with friends and doing all, 100 things at once. I know that is a lot of people's lives, but for me, I took it back a step. I really tried my absolute hardest to not say yes to everything and really listen to my body and just take it slow. Your body is growing a human. Like, you're gonna be tired. You are gonna need energy to grow a human. So rest when you can, take it slow when you can, because it is so important. You do not want to feel burnt out. You don't want to be feeling exhausted every single day, because if you feel like this throughout your pregnancy, then you've got to get through your labor and your birth, and then you need to look after a baby. So rest when you can. Your body will thank you for it later. So there you go, some of sort of tips and tricks that I did to prepare my body for labor and birth. Now look, I know some of these things you might not sort of, be drawn to, and you might not relate to, and that is absolutely fine. And some things that you might not be able to do. Again, no two journeys are the same. I just wanted to share my experience in the hope that it might be able to help you get through your labor and birth, and have a positive experience, whatever that might be. Thank you so much for watching another video, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.